Hi, I'm Dr. Starsiak, and whenever we are working in an area that we're dealing with something regularly, we can take certain knowledge for granted. I notice this in my practice when I have some patients who come in who are newer to aesthetics who wonder what the difference is between Botox and fillers. So I decided to create this video to help people understand what fillers are. Now, I've created a companion video to understand what Botox, or more generally, neuromodulators are. So what are fillers? Well, fillers are substances that we can inject generally into the face, but not exclusively, that help to add volume under the skin. There's two main categories. There are the hyaluronic acid fillers, and then there are other fillers that cause fibroblasts to activate and produce more collagen. So first, let's address the hyaluronic acid fillers. Now, a lot of the common brands use this. So the Juvederm line uses this. Radiesse uses this. And there's tons of well-known ones and some not so well-known ones. But basically, they're using a base molecule known as hyaluronic acid. You can buy this as a serum and you can put it on your face, hyaluronic acid. Your body and your skin is continually making and reabsorbing hyaluronic acid. So using this for a filler is pretty smart because it's a very natural molecule that the body's not going to react to typically. Now, if we were to just inject loose hyaluronic acid under our skin, it would quickly disappear. It wouldn't stay in place, it would get reabsorbed. So how fillers worked is they're cross-linked. Those molecules of hyaluronic acid stick together so that you can place them in locations and they'll stay. They won't be immediately reabsorbed. And the rate at which it takes for them to reabsorb varies from product to product. And it's mostly determined by this measurement that's called G prime. Within this measurement of G prime, there's a few things that are incorporated. So how elastic is something, meaning like how stretchy can it be? How resistant is it to stretch, basically? How viscous something is, so like water is non-viscous, honey is viscous, and how cohesive it is, meaning how well all of those molecules stick together. Any good injector will have multiple different types of filler in their repertoire because if we want to add volume to the cheeks, well, if we go all the way down to bone and we place a high G prime filler, that's going to do really good staying in that location. We're going to have very low risk of migration. But if we use that same filler in the lips, well, then it would be lumpy. So in the lips, we need something a little more flexible, something that's going to spread out more. And the way that fillers work, it's kind of like if you have a balloon that has been deflated, it can become wrinkly. If you put more volume into the balloon by blowing into it, then those wrinkles will disappear. Or we could use an example of if you take a sheet of paper and let's say, this sheet of paper is here on the wall. So we mark its start and we mark its end. If I were to take a bottle and put it under there, well now it's ending much higher than it was before because I've put volume behind it and I've created this curve. This is how it works in the face. If we're having skin that's sagging down because we've lost volume, well, if you add volume, it helps it lift up. So it doesn't actually tighten the skin itself, but it fills in the area so that there's not as much sagging skin. There are other treatments that can help increase the elasticity of the skin itself, but fillers don't do that. So the other category of fillers, the ones that work by stimulating collagen production via the fibroblasts, this would be like polylactic acid, one brand is Sculptra, or calcium hydroxyapatite. These cause your body to produce more collagen in that region. If you have more collagen in the region, you're also going to have more water because collagen is always hydrated, it's always covered with water. So you increase the volume in that area. Now this is going to have a governor on it. You're not going to be able to create such a huge volume increase with one of those fillers that it would look unusual. You're going to get very natural results. Now, you can get very natural results with hyaluronic acid fillers, and you should, but if someone's doing it incorrectly, you could get unnatural results. Now, the fibroblast stimulating fillers, those you don't have to worry about needing to dissolve anything because you won't get too much and it will be very harmonious for the balance in the rest of the face. But sometimes you have to dissolve hyaluronic acid fillers if they were placed poorly or if someone is getting too much put somewhere and they begin to have migration. And this can be done with hyaluronidase. So those fillers are reversible, but we need to be careful with how we reverse them because there are some cases that show if you reverse it too quickly, it can cause problems. So generally you want to do that gradually. And we do that here in our practice. We've had people go out to and get really cheap procedures done, and then they kind of got what they paid for, and it looks very unusual, and we have to dissolve it. And it generally you go slow and it works just fine. There's no problems with it. So there you go. That's what fillers are.